All right, so I don't know. I guess I can start. We're still noticing a lot of glitches with the new upgrade. I don't know if anybody else is, but we're noticing some weird things with our holds and our damages. We had an item that was hold. Whoops, sorry, I disconnected. I think it wasn't fitting right, so I took it out. Um, we had an item that was in transit. It was damaged, so we put it in damage, but yet it triggered the hold for. So it said it was on hold and it said it was in transit, but it was damaged. So we've noticed that there's some weird things going on with damaged items. They're triggering holds as they're not supposed to, and we also noticed that sometimes we get an error page. I don't know if anybody does that when you go to a record, like you're searching something Huckleberry Finn, and it'll say, "Oops, there's an error on this page," but then it still loads it. So we're still seeing some weird little glitches. Everything seems to be fine. We've gotten most of the glitches all fixed and patched, but we're still running into some issues.
Yeah, I know for us, we've noticed that the search, it will have errors or it's super slow.
Yeah.
Some of that might be related to the bot traffic that ByWater's been trying to thwart. If you check Slack or the incident report page, I'll put the link to the incident report tracker.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just noticed it right after the upgrade.
What kind of error messages are you seeing? Is it like 500 or like internal service error, server error, or like 500 errors, or?
No, it's just says error, can't load, or can't find or can't load information, but then it does. So it's a little box like about that big. So yeah, no number on it, no 500, no 404, no, nothing weird. Like, it's just an error message.
Yeah, we had an issue yesterday with our test server. So our production server is up on 24.11.02. So we were lucky enough to be upgraded with the patch installed for a lot of the problems that they were seeing. But our test server on the same version, but we couldn't do any searches at all. Like it kept saying like cats not found, no results found. It didn't matter if it was subject, title, author. So I put in a ticket yesterday and they did something and it seems to be fixed. So
Oh, that's good. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's having issues. I find that when I'm searching for a patron to check out to them, that it won't pull it up in patron. I have to be in checkout for them to pull up the patron by name. It's weird. If I'm adding a new patron, I don't have a problem. But if I'm searching for a patron, it doesn't come up, no matter how I type it.
So no predictive search at all, or?
No, I can type Georgette Rogers or Rogers Georgette or Rogers GEO, doesn't come up. If I go to checkout and do the same thing, my card pops up. So I don't know if anybody else has seen that issue, but I've noticed that since the upgrade.
I don't think we've noticed it with the patron side, just with the catalog side, that it was slow or empty and we have to do a couple searches and then it would pop up. The patron side, not so much.
Okay.
The only one, the only really big bug that I'm dealing with right now is the 500 error for the acquisitions. We're still getting that issue. So I've asked our librarians to stop ordering for now, and I'm still working with ByWater. For some reason, we're still trying to figure it out. And actually, I'm putting in the chat the bug roundup. There was that meeting, I think it was yesterday. And I see it on it's still being worked on. It's on the list, so they're working on it, if anything. I'm hoping that's what's adding order from a stage file. Like I want to say bug 38757 is what we're dealing with. But I'm still waiting for feedback from them, if anything, but that's, if we're talking about any kind of like error messages, that's the only one that I have heard of so far with, since the new update.
Okay. Oops. Sorry, I was looking at something. I was trying to find a message I had on one of my problems. They said it's a known bug and they're fixing it, but now I can't remember which one it is. I'd have to go in and check my tickets. Yeah, I'll have to go check my tickets. But I know that there's one that it's a known bug that they're trying to fix. I don't know, does somebody have anything fun to talk about? I mean, anything good working? I hate to come onto these, but it's nice to talk about them and have, find workarounds and, things like that.
I think I've said it before, but I like the new interface for the acquisitions module.
Do ya?
I'm doing the search for like the individual items is really convenient when you're going through your orders and stuff like that. So the librarians who put in the orders find it very useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't use that. We don't use acquisitions here, so we haven't. We're a small enough library. We really don't need it. So I haven't taken a look at it, but I do kind of like the new patron side. I like that it's got color and that it, catches your attention. I think there's a lot of wasted space, but I do like, um, I do like. I'm noticing. Is anybody noticing that the screen it seems really wide, and we can't always see. We have to like scroll over to the side to see like the cost of an item or something. Maybe it's too many cells on it. I don't know, but that's one thing we're noticing is that I go to print and I can't print off the fines, or I can't print off the entire screen. It cuts it off, and even when we're looking at it, I have to slide it over. And other than that, I really like it. I think it looks good. I think they've done a nice job of, making it clear and you can see things, and I like the color of it. But I've noticed the screen seems a bit bigger.
Yeah, we've had some problems with the save table settings that came with the upgrade, where you can go in and sort of tell it to hide these columns for this session.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed that if I don't untoggle that for certain tables, it gives me really weird looking tables. Like
Yeah, it
it'll give me a
does.
priority column where it shouldn't,
Yeah.
and it'll ungroup things where it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So I've gone through and turned off a lot of the save state checkboxes that came with the upgrade.
Yeah, I've tried to do that too.
Would that be in table settings in the admin?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's at the bottom of every table settings section. There's like 2 new checkboxes, and one of them is like save the state. And those are checked by default, but I found that if I uncheck some of those, that it gives me a better experience with those tables looking junky and being way too wide.
That's good to know. I'm going to talk to Christopher about that.
Rebecca, your bug that you just put in, the 39072, the shareable link, that's already broken? Like, what is that? Like, I thought that.
Yes, so we were early adopters for testing, and that was something that we noticed during our testing, is that the link works, but when you send it to someone and they open the link, they're getting many more results than you meant to send them. So yeah, we reported it, and that's a bug that's open. So if anybody's interested in tracking that or commenting on it, the link does work. Like, it will send your information, but it will also send a lot of other information that you didn't mean to send with it. Specifically with like locations, like, if you were only looking, let's say, at like kids' easy reader books, at a certain branch, it would send like all the easy reader books, not just the ones that you were viewing. So we've had a couple of instances of those links not working as intended. So, you know, we were opening up private sessions and then copying the link that we sent somebody and seeing that we had like, you know, 150 results versus the 23 that we meant to send. So.
And I'll put in the chat what shareable link is in a second, guys. Just making sure I get the right Monday minutes. We're talking about the item search shareable link, right?
Yes.
Oh, my success came across another bug that I don't know that's been discussed, but I'll put that in chat. The drop downs behavior changed a little bit with the upgrade. So like when you go to print a slip for a patron, that menu doesn't close anymore, which is annoying because when you get back to that page, you have to like click off of it to make it go away. And apparently that was affecting a bunch of different drop downs, and Owen's got a patch for it now that needs sign off, but that was just like a little annoyance thing that came up for us.
I'm trying to picture which one you're talking about, but I'm
I can show you. I'll
yeah.
share my screen. Hold on. Let me get a page up. Okay, so like I go to the patron and I want to print their slip. It's this drop down menu here. So if I click print slip and then if I print it or don't, that menu doesn't go away. I've got some custom code in there to fix it. That's why it didn't happen. But let's see if I can replicate it if I turn it off. So it may reload the page and it doesn't work. Nope, that worked. Okay, so that's the behavior it's exhibiting right now. It's like that menu doesn't go away unless you click off of it, which is an extra click, which is annoying, which you didn't have to use to do. So it's a bug.
Well, and everybody, I think everybody but the people from the SLO library has got my email about or I think everybody, if everybody from SLO already signed up for the listserv, then you probably already got my email about the question about the koha built-in notification thing. Now we were looking into that. Thank you all for your responses. Bob, thank you for that. This is very helpful. Chris especially, like I didn't know that function might be going away. So it's good to know before I start like follow the rabbit hole basically, or fall down the rabbit.
Yeah, the email to SMS stuff got really messy for us. So we ended up switching to Twilio, which has been what I wanted out of messaging service, because it's just using Koha's native messages and sending them via Twilio rather than like taking them, sending them to Shout Bomb and then redigesting them or whatever. But you got a lot of different options there.
Yeah, we use Twilio.
Oh,
we like it.
oh wait, real quick, Jason, you were with MessageBee?
No, we were just using the email to SMS texting driver that Koha has built in, and that is slowing. It's like dying a really slow, painful death. And it has been for several years now, where like it's getting more regulated, where before it was sort of just open, and those messages hit spam filters really hard, and it was like it was so unreliable that we had to do something different.
Yeah. Are you doing SMS and phone?
We just do SMS. You guys
Oh.
do phone, don't you,
Yeah, we
Georgette?
do.
We do.
phone.
Yeah, we do phone and text
And
and
sorry,
email.
Georgia, you're with MessageBee, right? No.
No, we're with Twilio.
Oh, also with Twilio. Okay.
Mhm.
And
And honestly, haven't had any complaints.
what's your rate for per SMS? Do you know off the top of your head how much you pay?
I don't. I can try and find out for you, but I don't. That was set up through the consortia, so I'm not sure.
Okay. I will, if anything, I'll email, if it's okay, I'm gonna email you too and just
Yeah.
tell you what mine is, and if I could just, I'm trying to compare prices, really. Not that I want to leave or anything, I'm just,
Yeah, I understand. You got to do what you got to do.
Here's the Twilio pricing chart for SMS. That's all we use it for.
Right.
But there's probably a place in there that talks about phone messaging as well. Cost, voice, maybe. I don't know. I know that I have it set up so if somebody calls the number, it gives them a little automated message and we get charged for that too.
Oh,
Um,
no.
well,
We are able to receive their texts back. I'm trying to figure out a way to block it so we don't have to pay for it. Because apparently I think we're paying for it too when if they respond, but I need to confirm that before. I have a meeting with MessageBeat today, just making sure I find out what each invoice means, kind of thing.
yeah, and we get charged if they respond back too. I've just got like an autoresponder. Like if they respond to a text from Twilio, then it like bounces back and says, hey, you need to call your library directly or talk to your library directly. But anytime there's like a back and forth, we get charged. Which I don't know that there's any way to like fully block that.
Yeah, so how do you is that, do you have the response set up in Twilio or in Koha?
In Twilio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And Koa has a plugin for interactivity, which I think Kristi said you guys use with Twilio, where like you can set it up where they can text a keyword to renew their items and stuff. Like you can get more in depth with it, but we haven't turned that on because of the cost. Because any interaction back and forth, they charge by segment, which is like a chunk of a message of a chunk. So like any activity that causes more back and forth is going to cost us more money.
So Jason, you were saying you have configured in Twilio in your portal through that a canned reply that goes out if they're
If they reply to the text message. So like they get a message that says hold available and then they reply to it, it'll bounce back a message that says no, please contact the library directly. Same thing with the phone call. Like if they call the number that they get the text from, it gives them like a short voice message that says please call your library.
Okay. I don't know if this should wait for the end of the meeting. I don't know if I'm crashing an agenda, but I have some questions
I don't
about
have an agenda.
offline circulation, if anyone's open to talking about that.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't have, excuse me, really no agenda, and John called in sick, so I'm kind of winging it. So whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about.
Okay. I am no aficionado with offline circulation, but we've had to use it with some of the bot traffic throttle or just bringing things down. So I had a couple general questions about it. First is, if your branch doesn't end up using the offline circ feature, like there aren't going to be any files created, right? It's not going to create that's correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Hold on a moment. Can you clarify if you're talking about the Firefox plugin or the desktop Koha?
The desktop Koha offline circ with
Okay.
the black Koha logo. Yeah, thanks. Good question. So if they don't use it, no file created, so there's nothing for them to upload. It doesn't create like a dummy file or
Right.
okay. Some of our branches were worried about it. And then the other question that came up was if you upload and process the file twice, does it, I think I know the answer to this and I don't like it, but does it ignore the second go round, or does it do something? In which case I think it renews the item instead of checking it out.
I don't really know. We don't use it because I don't like it.
Uh-oh, Jason knows something.
No, I'm just Google. I thought it was funny that she said that because that's sort of where I'm at with it too. And
Yeah.
most attempts we've had with it have gone awry, mostly because
Mhm.
the library doesn't know where the file went, or they forget to hit save after the first transaction, and then they don't have a file. So we're down so little, and most of my libraries do so little volume, they're just like keeping track manually in a spreadsheet or something. So I can't say
Yeah.
either, but I would guess that it's gonna do another checkout action, which, like you said, is gonna force eat up a renewal, but I don't know.
It
Yeah, I
does.
think that's,
It's so from what I can tell, because that happened, because we've gone like not using it, never
Mhm.
using it, to the week where there were all the blips, using it like different days in a week. And so if the files didn't get cleared out, they got uploaded again. And then we saw some renewals that were kind of head scratchers. So I thought that would probably be what happened, but I wanted to see if anyone else had experience with that.
yeah.
But we'll say overall, like it's pretty good for an offline circulation tool. Like when you're in that situation, it does what it needs to do. We just have not ever had to use it on consecutive days before. Yeah.
What I find is, yeah, people forget to save, they don't create the record. If you're on different computers, checking in or checking out, you have to upload every single computer. You can't just do a one upload because you've created a file on this computer, you've created a file on this computer, so on and so forth. And if you forget to upload them, then you've got a mess. So it's one person running around trying to get, things uploaded and find a file and all that. And so for us, we quit using it, I don't know how long ago, and I just go old school, hand check them out. I won't even use a spreadsheet. We ran into some problems with the spreadsheet. So I just do a hand checkout because people are more careful when they do a hand checkout. Because I have to hand check, type them in. And honestly, I enjoy doing that. I like typing, so I don't have a problem. And we don't go down a lot, and we don't have a huge amount of checkout. If we do, if it's like during story time or something, several of us will take care of it and that type of thing. So we just do it by hand. I realize some of the larger libraries can't really do that, but that's what works for us.
We have 27 branches that are open long hours,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
an option not to use it.
You're right. Right. Well, we're the one branch, and of course we are part of consortia, but Idaho handles things a little differently, and for all the different libraries, Newport handles it differently. So
Okay. So has anyone else run into reprocessing? I probably not reprocessing the same file for offline circ.
We don't use the desktop offline circ. We use the Firefox plugin.
Okay.
So
I
we
didn't
have,
know.
yeah, it's easy because it's built into the browser. So it's just a button that we've put on the browser that people can click. If the power is out or the network's down, obviously that's not going to work.
Mhm.
The issues we run in with the Firefox plugin has been, if we go over multiple days, you have to find a way you have instructions to export it and then save it somewhere because it doesn't hold all the data overnight. We found that, especially our bigger branches, sometimes they'll have to export it during the day. The other issue we found is if the transactions are not cleared out after they've been saved. So if they save the KOC file and send it to us and then forget to clear the data after they save the KOC file, let's say it's 6 months after you've been down and then you do it again, all of those things that were still there are still present in the KOC file. So we've had
Is-
that problem before. And we always try to tell people, as soon as you open the offline circ, make sure you clear out. Just click the clear button like 3 times, you know, just clear it before you start. But unfortunately, it is every single PC, you know, that like, you know, that's using it for either discharge or checkout. But the nice thing about the Firefox plugin is once the system's back up, they just click it and it says apply directly to Koha. And all that transaction data is loaded up automatically. So that's the perk, is if it's a short-term outage, there's no back-end staff involvement. They just click the button and load it. The bad thing is that they forget to clear it. And then you run into people calling us about things that they returned like 6 months ago, which has happened. But that's more of a training issue than a Koha issue. And we're also running into the, oh shoot, is it the CSRF, Jason? Like, wait, which way is the acronym? We're having some issues with the token issues with the CSRF implementation. So that plugin has not been working very well for us.
Okay.
So we're actually looking into putting it on individual PCs, like the desktop, like you have, Kristi.
Okay. So you're using it as, is it like a browser extension plugin, not something? Okay.
Yeah.
And we use Chrome. So that's okay, but that's good to know that's out there.
Yeah. We didn't want to have to install it on every single PC and then update it. I wish there was a way that you could have like a Koha, like you have the Koha web browser that you could just find some way to install it from there, but you know, it's not there yet. So
Yeah. Do any of you guys do returns during offline circulation? We don't touch
No.
that at all, but okay.
No,
That's
I've
one of
always,
the reasons we wouldn't use it.
yeah, I've always heard that's like really dangerous just because it can't trap
Mhm.
holds and catch things that you need to catch
Right.
when you're checking things in. So we always just pull things that need checked in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hold all our check-ins until we come back online. If they get too if it gets too tall, then we, you know, kind of do a hand scan or a spreadsheet of that just to get them off the counter and on the cart. But we ran into way too many issues with offline, so I just won't use it.
That's good to know, because instructions were given out on both of the check-in or the issuing and the return. So if anything, since OPCOM is here, SLO Library Operations Committee is here, then maybe we can include that in our processes. Seems like a good idea.
Include what now?
Oh, sorry, I'm just talking about like not doing returns when we're using offline Koha.
Yeah, I would say that's good advice.
it also depends on how long you think you're going to be down. I mean, if
Mhm.
it's going to be a week-long outage, you might want to deal with the holds queue afterwards. You know, that might be a trade-off. You know, if it's a couple hours, sure, but if it's a couple of days or a week, you might
Mhm.
want to think about using the offline circ return. And then just deal with the items getting trapped on hold queues later so that you can pull those holds that were missed. So it's just what's right for your
Mhm.
library. We use both. Like we've done it with and without. Like the smaller branches, you know, we have 8 locations. So some of our branches are very small and don't have more than a couple hundred returns a day, but our main branch will sometimes use it as well, you know, just to keep the flow going. And then staff will put aside the ones that they think are going to be on hold.
Mhm.
You know, like the popular books, like, oh,
Mhm.
that new book should definitely be on hold. And then they'll check it in when they get it, when the system comes back online.
Oh, I put that bug in the chat about being able to upload the same file twice. So there is some discussion and ideas about ways to maybe work around that issue, but it doesn't look like there's been any real movement on it.
Mhm. I wish offline worked a little bit better, especially, you know, we're supposed to be getting some really strong weather the next couple days, and although we don't go offline much, we do periodically. And so it'd be nice to, for that to work, so it wouldn't take so much time to write things down. But, I'm just not, that's one of the few parts that I am not happy with and refuse to use. That inventory. I like inventory now, although we do it a different, we don't use it anymore. That was the director's, the previous director's decision not to use it, but, I actually, once we got used to it, I actually like their inventory. You just have to remember to change the date, and you have to upload it. You can't be open when you use, and you can't be checking out when you do inventory. I'd like to go back to doing it that way, but not gonna happen. So does anybody have anything else?
I
Like I
was
said,
just
I didn't come in with an agenda, so just whatever we
on
have.
on the that second bug I put in there, it looks like they are working on the CSRF token stuff for the Firefox plugin.
Have any of you started using the new preferred name field in hold slips or anything?
Turned it off.
No, we have a few people, like we have a Joseph that, they prefer Joe, but we haven't noticed if, they're pretty new patrons, so we haven't noticed a hold or anything on
We
those
have
on it yet.
plans to use it. We just need to reconfigure our scanning machines so that we can import data correctly, but that's hopefully coming in the few next couple of weeks. Kristi, have you guys had any problems with it? Are you guys using it?
I'm just curious. I just know it's going to be a thing in 2411, and
Mhm.
I know that there is interest in getting hold slips to use, because we do like first 4 digits of the first name on the hold slip.
Yeah.
And then if it could be first 4 preferred name, that would be an easy swap. And it seems like looking in the notices section that you can just drag and drop preferred name over there now. So it seems like it would be easy enough to do. I just was curious if anyone had tried yet.
No, we haven't. Like I said, we've put some people in that way that, prefer to be a Mike, a Michael that prefers Mike or, something. But haven't noticed our holds, but our holds are last name and then the first 2 initials. So like your first name initial and your middle name initial. Because we do use middle name. We have too many people with the same name. My husband being one.
I haven't
We
updated any of my notices, but yeah, I think it should be a matter of just swapping out first name for
Yeah.
preferred name as the database field it queries. Sorry, I
Yeah.
interrupted somebody.
No, you're good.
That's
You're good.
okay. We tested preferred name heavily for 2411 and noticed that it works great. Like when you put the preferred name in, it replaces the first name. You don't see it unless you're editing the patron record. We had an issue with the username not on a new patron not being, it wasn't using the preferred name, it was using the first name. And so that was an issue. And I think there's a bug, but I can't find it at the moment. So, but we also had an issue with it not transferring over to Aspen yet because we're an Aspen library. And I know there is development being done to bring that over.
Oh,
And
Good to
also
know.
a lot of our third-party vendors, we've informed them that this new field is available, but it's on them to make sure that they can see it through either the API or the SIP call or whatever they're doing, however they're connecting with us, and that it will be generated properly. Like we use a mobile checkout app, so we've contacted them and we're testing what that looks like. That's been our biggest thing because we've been using the other name field for these to put the, hang on, to put the new preferred name in the other name field. So we actually have a lot of patrons in our system that prefer other names. And the dead name was listed as their first name because that's just the legal name on the document, so we could find it. So, oh, thanks, Jason. You're a master bug searcher.
Yeah.
That was in my brain.
I'm-
So
yeah.
that one is closed won't fix because Andrew talked about this at some point or another. Since they've made plugin hooks for that sort of thing, they're talking about making a plugin that you could use to control how the username gets auto-generated. But there's information on that bug about it.
I'm gonna talk to the consortium about it next month when we have our meeting, and I can come back to this one and maybe talk a little bit more about it, see if it's something that our consortium is gonna use. How's it gonna look on our hold slips, you know, that type of thing. So I made myself a note. Because we're putting names in. We don't get a lot of people that, use it, preferred name unless it's a nickname. And so, we used to use the other name field for that as well. We have some people that use their middle name, that type of thing. So, so this is a good question. I'm highlighting it with my red pen.
Well, my understanding is like you're using it whether you want to or not. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you put in the first name, and then if you don't put anything in the preferred name, it just copies the first name into the preferred name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
swapping out first name for preferred name everywhere that it is currently is safe because all that data copies.
Yeah, that's how I was reading it. That's what it,
I have a question for the group. Has anyone noticed reverting a hold? I haven't been able to replicate this, but I swear I've seen it twice now, and then I tried to track it as fast as I could, and then it disappeared. So it seems like when you have a hold that's going to another branch and you revert it for some reason either off the hold shelf or in transit, it's sending it to the bottom of the hold queue. Has anybody noticed that?
I haven't noticed that. Is that in 2411 only, or?
I think I have seen that, yes.
Okay, because I've been trying to replicate it, and the problem is I can't seem to catch it fast enough before something else happens in the system.
Let me see if I can.
So if anyone in the group can capture it and get a ticket or a bug in, can you let me know? That would really appreciate that, because I've been trying to replicate it all morning, and it's going so fast I can't catch it in action. So
I'm trying to remember when I saw it on yesterday. I saw it on one of our patrons, and now I can't remember his name.
And I'm just wondering if it's one of those things from like Jason said, with the saved sort, saved for this session kind of thing. I haven't tried turning those off yet, so I'm going to try that. Thank you for the recommendation, Jason. And see if that's maybe fixing the issue. It doesn't seem like it's out of order, like the numbers seem to be weird, but every time I look at a holds queue, it's either
down at the bottom,
upside down or right side up or somewhere, and it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. I don't see it often, but I have seen it. Anybody have anything else? How many are going to the full conference in September?
Probably will.
Yeah, all right.
Which conference? The
KOHA-US.
Oh, okay. And then she's going with me.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if she's on your screen where I am because I can see her right here.
Okay. I don't know who she is.
Oh, Kara.
Yeah, I can see her.
She's above you on my screen. You gotta
Yeah.
Oh,
point
okay.
Yeah, she's above you.
Does anybody know when they'll open up the registration for koha-US? I know Aspen is in April, but I don't know. Koha just keeps saying coming soon.
I will ask about that at the next board meeting.
Mhm.
Just
I think-
not decided yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
At the last committee meeting, I don't think we're there yet. So,
No.
gotcha.
what we will likely do is open up the call for proposals first. So you'll see
Mhm.
that as the next step. And then registration will open up, probably sometime over the summer.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll miss the next or the next general meeting, so I'll look forward to your minutes, Kristi. So I know what's happening at the conference. I'll miss that conference meeting.
Was anyone else going to Aspen Con? Is anyone, like, I think this would be my first Aspen Con.
Uh-uh.
No.
Someone
When
told
is
me-
Are
it?
you guys with Aspen?
Yeah,
I keep
When, yeah,
assuming
we are.
everybody's Aspen.
I
when
imagine
is it?
October.
October, yeah, but the
Yeah.
registration starts April 1st.
It's in Nashville this year.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Someone from CCPL will go. It just won't be me.
I'll have to take a look at that.
I'll be attending online.
Uh-huh.
In hopes that I get to go to koha-US.
You can
Well,
probably
no,
take
it's
the train to
online.
KOCT, right?
Oh, yeah. Just, it's a short train ride up to Rhode Island from here.
Yeah, nice.
We're on the other end of the country, so that's a long flight. Looking forward to it though.
Is anyone using the booking module yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, we don't, like I said, we're small enough library, we don't really use it.
Kristi, are you using that? And if so, what
Oh,
do
yeah.
you use it for?
We use it for a few different things. The main, not main, one of the big ones is like we have a lot of teachers that come in to get, like, say they need to read the Lemonade War for 6 weeks here. So they're like, I know I'm going to be teaching the Lemonade War this time, so I need this set for these days. So you can book and have it reserved for that time period. And then you can see who else has it booked, so you can book around it. It's kind of like, that's the general idea. We also use it, like, our staff for their programs. We have a limited number of things like circuit kits and Nintendo Switches that can go out to be used for branch programs. So they know I've got my summer fun program on this date in July. They can make sure that they have those sets reserved then. So we manage a lot of that through the booking module. But I know it's relatively a new module, but just hoping to get more booking buddies to talk to.
Do you use it for like book club kits or anything like that?
You could.
We don't-
That, like, those classroom discussion sets that I just mentioned are about the same thing, but geared towards teachers. There's like 18 copies in a set, and they can check it out. Like, basically there's like one barcode, 18 books in it in a bag, and then they get it for however long they've booked it.
I brought it up a few times to our libraries, and I think there's some interest, but I think they might just be having a little trouble wrapping their head around it right now. So they definitely have materials that it would make sense to use it, and better than just using holds. I just don't think anybody wants to take the time to learn something new.
I will say that it is like it's staff mediated, like there's not a public facing, like you'd have to go up to the reference desk and say, I want to book a set for my book club. And then they could look at the calendar and be like, okay, when do you want it? Does anybody else have it booked? Then if no, then they can go ahead and put the booking in for them.
Does it have to be staff mediated, Kristi, or could it be
Right
public?
now it is, yeah. As far as I know, we use Aspen, so there's no way right now. And I think there's something on the crowdfunding board for Aspen about a patron moderated or mediated bookings side of things, but as far as I know, right now it's all staff mediated.
If I recall correctly, it kind of supersedes existing holds. So if somebody has the item checked out and they only have maybe had it checked out for 3 days, does that end their checkout early and then send that item into the person who has the pre-existing booking?
So that I can't really speak to, because anything we have that's booking, that's all we have it for. Like you can't, it's not a regular circulating, put a hold on it kind of thing. It's booked or
Got it.
not.
So your circulation and your bookings are separate, or the items that
Uh,
you're using the bookings for.
right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a
Yeah, but
question.
those like program in a box we do, that would work.
Yes, we could do it for just in-house stuff. I was just trying to think for your request for like book club kits and stuff that are used by our staff and patrons. That would be really tricky to navigate.
It's not the trickiest. Like, we do that. Like those book discussion kits for classes, those go out to the public. But they, they manage the requests. You have to go up to the desk to place the request. But the way, if you want, I can, well, no, I probably shouldn't share my screen, but the way it ends up being is like there's a timeline that shows all the bookings, like who has it when, and then you can click into that patron's account from there, and you'll also see like that patron's bookings show up on their patron account too. So like development, but we had like when we first went live on bookings, that didn't show up in the patron's account. So you'd get people coming up to the desk and being like, I think I have a booking to pick up. Here's my name. And you're like, I don't know what you have. So now it's much, much better because you can just look on their bookings tab and be like, oh, okay, you've got the Arduino kit from the 3rd through the 12th of the month.
Are those kits though available for hold on your website? So all of that stuff is just has to be placed on hold by a staff member.
Correct. So the
Okay.
CERC rules on those, I would have to look really quickly, but there's no holds allowed on them.
Got it.
Just bookings on those
So
items.
for our public, they can place those items on hold. So we would have to reconfigure how we circulated those items in order to make bookings work for us, I think.
Right. Like you would want, you could try and think of a way to get to do both of them, but I think it would disappoint people. We just have item types that are set up for booking and there's no holds allowed on them. And we use them we circulate them through booking.
In any time in the future, I know you're not going to next KOHA-Con, you're gonna present on this subject maybe, like at one of the conferences.
If there's interest, yeah, I know my colleague Becky presented on it at the KOHA-Con in Montreal on the same topic. So I was kind of thinking maybe there wouldn't be the interest in it, but yeah, I'd be happy to put something together for Ocean State, Providence.
Now I have to find the Montreal link that Jason sent me about that.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's on one of these screens somewhere.
I know. I need the link for that conference too and see.
See if I can find it. Jason presented at that conference too.
Did he?
Yeah, the schedule's here. I don't think they ever broke out the recordings, but there's links to
Oh,
the day streams
okay.
scattered amongst the schedule a little bit. Maybe not.
That's okay. You can-
Charlie, if I can find it, I'll email it to you.
Yes, please. I mean, I know it's probably still on one of these screens up here, but just in case I did close out on. Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, well, we have about 7 minutes left. Anybody else has anything? If not, we can end early and meet back again next month with hopefully more information.
Oh, okay, Jason posted the video link.
Oh, good.
You'd have to scrub through, but it would be Becky Rinaldo from Cuyahoga County Public Library and some people from PTF, Fiona Bothwick from PTFS Europe.
Jason, you are so good. You're
Oh,
so
sorry.
fast.
Open Fifth. Sorry.
Jason is just like speeding so fast.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Oh, I don't know. Somebody was saying something and they left, I think so. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, we can go ahead and end a little early. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. We'll see you next month.
Yeah.
Bye.